Baby, I want to come see you. Said I really want to come see you. Who is that in the thing talking about now he don't want to come to work? He ordering Uber Eats. I was actually in here talking to Oliver. Y'all lucky I love y'all because y'all hoes make me sick sometimes. Dang, I'm here. Okay. I don't have consistency problems no more. All right. Don't judge me from my past because I don't stay there no more. I be trying to come to work or whatever and be on time. All right. So, first and foremost, guys, I want to, I don't know if issue an apology is the right word, but I did read a lot of you guys' comments when I asked what we want to talk about today. And a lot of people were saying things like, can the show just be funny? That, yesterday's show was really heavy and it was really deep and it was really, whatever, whatever, whatever. And I definitely agree with y'all. Remember when I was saying early on that I was trying to stay away from the political stuff because this is exactly what happens. Like once you start diving into it, you have to dive into it. And I don't know what the hell is why my green screen ain't working. I have a green screen. See, I go. Nevertheless, once you dive into it, I'll play around with this later. There we go. There we go. Because my ears were still disappearing. Once you start diving around and playing into it, y'all, you have to play into it. So here is what I'm going to do. I think I am going to try my hardest to not turn this space because let me back up. Remember, I said I was staying at the thing. Okay, now that Kamala is in the thing, I think I have to kind of be in the thing. I think that I have to be in the thing. Here is what I was thinking about when I was laying in the bed. I think what I'm gonna do on a daily basis, just touch maybe one story about the thing. Because every day it ain't gonna be nothing big and deep to report on. And again, this still needs to be a comedic place for people to escape all the political stuff. So I'll do one story at the top of the show about the thing, and then maybe one day a week, once we build up a lot of information about the thing, then we'll really dig in and dive in. Two things, y'all probably gonna be excited about this. When Joe Biden had announced that he had dropped out the thing, I had reached out to Amanda Seals to see if she wanted to come back on this week. And then Amanda actually reached out to me today and said she got some more things that she want to say. So Amanda will be back on the show on Thursday. Now, I don't know what it is she want to talk about, but I know what it is I want to talk about. So Amanda going to be back on the thing Thursday. I know a lot of y'all was saying that Amanda and I had, great chemistry and we got along and it was very informative. And I feel the same way too. In a perfect world, if Amanda would be open to it, I would love to have Amanda on the show once a week to do a segment. However, guys, business and money is involved. Just in full transparency, she has a platform. I have a platform as well. And in all fairness, I would not go sit on somebody's platform every week while they make the money and not get paid. And so, having her every week may not be feasible. Oh, I swallowed down the wrong bottle. Excuse me. Having her every week may not necessarily be feasible, but I will have her whenever she be willing to come on and for us to talk about various excuse me things like that. Um let me see. Oh, excuse me. Outside of that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Y'all, we got six stories today. It was a very slow news day. It was a very slow news day. We touched on Sonia Massey yesterday. That was another heavy story. And I promise y'all, I will come on when there's, some relevant updates. But I don't want to boggle the show down with things that are super duper heavy, because I do recognize that people come over here to escape the real world, because the real world sucks. Outside of that, y'all, I got an update about the cruise from Legra. Legra said, as a result of last night, an additional 12 people have signed up. So as of now, guys, the Funky Bunch has 45 cabins with a total of 65 people going thus far. Now, here's the thing. Y'all some nosy bitchs. Y'all are some nosy bitchs, because I went over to the Facebook group for the cruise, and it's 765 of y'all in the Facebook group. It's 765 of y'all in the Facebook group, and only 65 people going. All right. So 700 of y'all is just nosy as hell, or y'all wait until y'all get paid on Friday to put y'all down deposit on the cruise. Here is what I'm going to say in all honesty. When it comes to Down to the Bar, and when it comes to the Funky Brunch Cruise, if I'm being totally honest with y'all, I don't do these things to make money. I don't make a whole lot of money off of them. My only goal is, like, if I break even, I'm cool. I'm actually all right if don't no more y'all come. I am actually totally fine if don't no more y'all sign up. Okay? A nice little group of 65 people on the cruise, that's going to be a nice little yang, okay? That's going to be a nice little yang. That's enough for us to fill up a little room. That's more than enough for us to fill up a little bar. That's more than enough for us to get a little section at the pool. That's more than enough. I don't even know if the dining hall's going to be able to accommodate all of us. 65 people is more than enough. And mind you, we 9 months out. So I know more people are going to come. And trust Funky Bunch, I want y'all to come. Come on. The more the merrier, the more the merrier. But, don't feel no pressure. You ain't got to feel no pressure to come, because we got a nice little bunch. We got a nice little bunch. But for those of y'all who are still on the fence about the cruise, it only costs you about $100 to get in, put your money down, get your room. Y'all, the rooms are going quickly. I've had people who checked out a particular room, then they've gone back, and it's like that room style is no longer there. So if you can spare the $100 to just get in there, I would suggest that you go ahead and just get in there. But if not, it's 65 of us that's going. If you going to the Funky Bunch Cruise and you are in the chat right now, can you put a heart emoji in the chat? Put a heart emoji in the chat right now if you one of the 65 that's going, because we're going to have a good time with or without the other girls. And listen, I don't want to hear nothing about y'all being broke, okay? I don't want to hear nothing about you being broke. It's 9 months away. It's 9 months away. You can get in with $100. Look at all these people going. Come on, girls. The girls is going. Baby, we finna under the sea, down where it's wetter, it's where it's better, under the sea. I hit my note. We gonna have an amazing time. Or whatever. Get in. I want to see y'all there. The more the merrier. Y'all, $2,500, bust down by 2. You and your homegirl could go for $1,500 a piece, all in, just about $100 a piece to get in. Make it do what it do. Instagram link in my bio. Yada, 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 yada. See you there. All right. Let's jump into the thing. I'm going to start out by saying this really quickly. Oh, and Allegra said, and there's a lot of people on hold, so I'm sure more are booking. And a hold constitutes when somebody goes in, puts the room on hold, but doesn't make the payment. So that's what she said. There's a bunch of people on hold. Anyway, let's jump right on into the thing. All right. So like I said at the top of the show, we're going to do a small little political segment. And here is what I got on that. You know, it's a crying shame. And this is for the folks out there who are.
I will not be endorsing Donald Trump this year. I cannot, in good conscience, endorse Donald Trump in this campaign.
You can now add Pence to the ever-expanding list of former Donald Trump officials who say that the former president should not ever step foot in the White House again. Just let that sink in. This is a list that is quite long at this point. Among them, his former Attorney General, Bill Barr.
You know, he's like a defiant nine-year-old kid who's always pushing the glass toward the edge of the table, defying his parents to stop him from doing it.
His former National Security Advisor, John Bolton.
Between Biden and Trump, there was no conservative on the ballot. So I wrote in the name of a conservative, and I would do the same in 2024.
His Security Advisor, H.R. McMaster.
I think it would be terribly divisive for our country for him to run again.
The former Trump Defense Secretary, Mark Esper.
Do you think Trump can be trusted with the nation's secrets ever again?
No. I mean, it's just irresponsible action that places our service members at risk, places our nation's security at risk.
The other former Trump Defense Secretary, Jim Mattis, he said that Trump fomented an insurrection. The former Trump Chief of Staff, John Kelly, who says Trump has no idea what America stands for. His former Acting Chief of Staff, Mick Mulvaney.
I quit because I think he failed at being the president when we needed him to be that.
And his former Joint Chiefs Chairman, Mark Milley.
We don't take an oath to a king or a queen or to a tyrant or a dictator. And we don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator.
And there are others, quite a few more, in fact. But Pence today gave his reasons, and they aren't just about how Trump put his life at risk on January 6th.
During my presidential campaign, I made it clear that there were profound differences between me and President Trump on a range of issues, and not just our difference on my constitutional duties that I exercised on January the 6th. Donald Trump is pursuing and articulating an agenda that is at odds with the conservative agenda that we governed on.
To hear him say that out loud and pair it with Pence's refusal to endorse Trump, it is nothing short of extraordinary. But notice what all of these people have in common. Every one of them saw Trump's conduct up close, especially when it came to the most sensitive and important parts of the job, the ones that deal with the nation's national security. And so Mike Pence, you would think he plans to vote for Joe Biden, right?
Who are you going to vote for in November?
Well, like most Americans, I'm going to keep my vote to myself. But you know,
would you
I'm
vote for President Biden?
I would never vote for Joe Biden. But how I vote when that curtain closes is that'll be for me.
You know, there's a lot to be said here, right? And this portion of my commentary, I am going to dedicate to some of y'all in the Funky Bunch and some Black people. I'm talking to Black people specifically right now. I'm going to dedicate this commentary to some of you Black people who just seem to like make believe that we honestly and feasibly have a third option. So, you know, on one token, I can halfway respect Mike Pence for being responsible enough for informing the American people on what type of person that this president is, right? But what I don't understand from grown, college-educated, politically experienced, wealthy, very rational and successful business people. I literally just don't understand this fake symbolism that y'all are doing with this, like, I'm going to write in a candidate. I had somebody read me down to the ground and asked me, why wasn't I throwing my support behind Cornel West? I'm not even going to waste y'all time dignifying that statement. In America, since all of us has gone and taken civics in the 3rd grade, in the 6th grade, social studies, the write-in has never worked. So it's odd to me, right? Because Mike Pence, it's like, okay, like, if you're not voting for Trump, then what exactly are you doing? Because the reality of the situation, no matter how hard y'all want to pull a 3rd candidate out of the sky, we just don't have one by November. All right? Spare me and save the conversation about there needs to be a 3rd party. Save that for your mammy at Thanksgiving. While I agree, it's just a non-conversation for this election. So same thing with all of these black people who are screaming, I'm not voting for Trump and I'm not voting for Biden either. Then what exactly is it that you're doing? And I challenge you to do this. Don't vote. If that's the case, this may make you sleep easier at night. Don't make this election about voting for what you do want. Make it about voting for what you don't want. All right. And so I'm going to be fair in this conversation. And I'm going to say, if you are one of those people that's like, I'm not voting for Trump and I'm not voting for Biden, don't look at it that way. Vote for what you don't want. Because what you don't want to happen is you and this fake ass hill of symbolism that you're willing to die on. I would hate for you to play in that make-believe world that you're trying to build, and then it has real world consequences because this tyrant who people voted for in the real world actually gets in office while you're somewhere over there playing Sesame Street and Barney with these 3rd party write-in candidates. Do this country, your family, and your children a favor. Go throw your symbolic temper tantrum in the privacy of your bedroom, because that's what it is. It's a political temper tantrum. That's not, you ain't doing nothing. And y'all say it so proudly, like you doing something. You're kind of in the way. As a matter of, you're kind of in the way. And if you are just absolute and resolute in your, I'm not voting for Biden or I'm not voting for Trump, do us all a favor and just don't vote at all. Stay your ass home. We don't need you cluttering up the lines down to the voting place. We don't need you sending in paper absentee ballots, further clouding up the pipeline. We don't need none of that. Just stay home, sleep. Just stay home and sleep. We don't need you cluttering up the election system, playing Sesame Street with this make-believe 3rd party candidate that does not exist and will never win by any stretch of the any stretch, SKRETCH, stretch, by any stretch of the imagination. Just stay home. Let's move on to somebody else that's getting on our nerves, that make us want to go on to the next thing. Because I'm going to tell you, this woman right here, she makes me want to go on to the next thing. Let me tell y'all something. Lee Daniels is a better woman than I ever be. Because it ain't no way in hell that you was going to lay me out the way Monique laid they behinds out. And I take you out to eat the fine dining. Now, I might take your ass to Applebee's. I might hear you out down to the Olive Garden. You might get some to-go wings at Hooters. But you ain't. And I don't know why. I don't know why my spirit is just telling me Monique is going to come out and be against Kamala Harris. I don't know why. My spirit is just telling me Monique finna come out and do something annoying in this election that we not asking her for. That's the comedic side of me talking. The real life side of me talking understands the fact that real friends are hard to come by. All right. And I love the fact that through it all, these two were able to reconcile their differences and come back together. Just my own personal curiosity, I would be curious to know what Lee's standing is as it relates to friendship with Oprah and Tyler, if that has been impacted or affected, or if, you know, all parties involved are mature and they just like, child, Lee, that's you and your friend, but I'll never talk to again. I'm going to be honest with you. I do think that there is a likelihood that, I'll slow down the chat. Thanks for reminding me. I do think that there is a likelihood that Tyler and Oprah will, Tyler and Monique can potentially reconcile at some point. And I think that'll only happen if Monique lets this stuff die down long enough where emotions can kind of settle and the dust can kind of settle. As it relates to Oprah Winfrey, I don't think Oprah Winfrey and Monique will ever talk again in life. I just don't. I don't think they'll ever talk again in life. I think that Oprah Winfrey was so far beyond and so far removed from having, and I'm not saying this as disrespect, but the only phrase that's coming to my mind right now is lower tier friends. I think that Oprah lives in a world that is so far above the level where Monique exists that Monique not being in her life is truly of no consequence to Oprah. I don't see a world where Oprah and Monique ever sat up on the phone and cackled and had a true relationship. Now, I do see a world where Tyler Perry and Monique used to sit on the phone at 2:00 in the morning while watching The Real Housewives of Atlanta, drinking Pepsi and eating popcorn and gossiping. And so I do see a world where Tyler and Monique may one day reconcile. But Monique and Oprah, it's just a wrap for that. And especially the lengths that which Monique went to get her point across. I'm not picking sides, right, wrong, or indifferent at this point. It really doesn't matter. I just hope that we don't ever have to hear Monique talk about this stuff again that spanned from this movie Precious. I hope that the olive branch and essentially the bridge that has been reconstructed between Lee Daniels and herself is enough to smooth Monique over enough so we don't have to hear about this stuff again. That's my hope. Lee put her in a new movie. They're doing press, and there's a lot to be learned. You see Monique ass doing that press this go round, and I imagine she said, and you see Lee Daniels ass paid me for this press this go round. Here though, y'all, now that I think about something, here is a lesson that needs to be taught, learned for business, for everybody involved in this situation. Here's the lesson. a lot of y'all sleep on Coach Stormy. And when it comes to Coach Stormy, I chew the meat, spit out the bone. But here is one thing that I got from Coach Stormy, and I'm paraphrasing here. She said, I don't want nobody to do nothing for me for free. I don't let nobody do nothing for me for free. And essentially, she went on to say, because number one, you know, when you go out and you do your services and give yourself away for free, it kind of shows that you don't value, honor, respect, or believe in yourself. I'm on the fence about that one. But moreover, from a more cosmic perspective, I don't want you to do nothing for me for free because I run a business too. And when I turn my invoice in, I want my invoice paid. I don't want my invoice haggled. I don't want it negotiated. I want my invoice paid. And moreover, I don't want nothing from you for free because when it's not done, I need to be able to call and cuss you out. Okay? And so why is that relevant to this? Monique did this precious movie for Lee Daniels for $50,000 as a favor. She did it as a $50,000 favor to Lee Daniels. And that's where all of the confusion started because she did it as a favor. Lee Daniels wanted her or expected her to go around and promote the movie. And those are all typical things that actors and actresses do, but they also get paid their full rate. And that lady's position was, you know, I didn't get paid my full rate. I'm not going above and beyond. HR, you say a favor. Yes, she said she did him a favor. She did the movie for $50,000 because they did not have a budget. Now, some of y'all say, yeah, and she got an Oscar. Point taken. But at the time in which she did the favor, no one knew an Oscar was coming. It's here nor there. The point that I'm trying to make is when people do things for you, discount it, or you do things for people, discount it, it opens up energy and opportunity for shortcuts to be taken in other areas. You start operating in the gray area. You start operating in the gray area. Had that lady been paid her rate and not the favor rate, then there wouldn't have been a conversation about the expectations. Because it's like, no, you got paid your rate. This is what you're supposed to do. But, you know, to her credit, at the point in which I took a shortcut on my rate, I should be able to do a shortcut on some of the other expectations that come along with the role. And do y'all see why doing stuff for people for free and doing it for a discount and stuff, it creates all this confusion that don't have to be. Let's keep business separate. Let's keep friendship separate. And that's been a hard lesson that I've had to learn in my adult life, but it really is just best to keep the two separate. Let's move on. The director, y'all, of the Secret Service, I did these stories out of order. The director, y'all, of the Secret Service, Kimberly Cheadle, resigned after the attempted Trump assassination. I want to take a poll really quickly in the comments. I want you to type yes if you feel she should have resigned. And I want you to write no if you feel like come Monday morning, that lady should still be at her desk. Now, I've said this before on these shows when it comes to these leaders of departments and governmental agencies resigning after things happen. And I am just still a little bit confused on the chain of command and people resigning. From where I sit, from where I sit, this lady was in her office doing payroll. This lady was in her office doing payroll, approving vacation time, going over new hire applications, and approving the new uniforms. This is what she was in there doing. This lady did not know what was going to happen in the field. She was not there in the field, and she can't necessarily control what the people do in the field. I am just lost at how what field agents out there do now has this woman out of a job. I need somebody who is better at this to explain this to me, because this is a very dangerous precedent to be set in a lot of industries. For those of you guys who are in managerial positions and supervisory roles, and I may be comparing apples to oranges here, trying to compare the Secret Service to somebody who works in corporate America, but just imagine the level of liability you would be open up to if you found out that your job would be on the line if one of your employees did something. I'm just a little confused. I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent because I'm not educated enough about it, but I'm just not understanding why she, who was in the office, should be fired for what happened in the field. And you, or somebody said because she could have been better prepared. Okay, what you say? They say yes and no. It all falls on her, who and what the agents learned and trained for. Security was breached. Okay. Tierra Sardine, I 100% agree with you. She's responsible for what they learn, what they're taught, and what their training is. But is she to be held responsible if she did her part in training them and giving them the training and that they just didn't act on the training? I don't know, y'all. This just makes me uncomfortable when people get fired for what the people in the field do. I don't know that I 100% agree with it. Now, I definitely think, you know, she should be put on some type of watch list and a 90-day write-up or something, but just, you know, it happened under her watch. I get that. Following this, though, you know, I'm the head nurse at the hospital. If one of my nurses is stealing, you know, fentanyl out the cabinets, is getting it high at work, do I now get fired? You know what I'm saying? I'm the head person of cafeteria services down to the elementary school. If I find out one of the cafeteria ladies digging in her ass and sticking it around in the spaghetti, do I now get fired? You know what I'm saying? I am the principal at the school. If I find out one of the teachers slapped the SHIT out of one of the students, despite the fact that I've trained them better, do I now get fired? I'm the county transportation supervisor. If one of my bus drivers gets in a road rage situation and runs over a crossing guard, do I now get fired? I just don't know where the line is drawn between who gets fired and who doesn't. What type of roles dictate somebody getting fired and what type of roles don't. And I get that some people are saying it's a false equivalency, and I'm willing to agree. I just need to better understand which type of jobs qualify for this type of stuff. I don't know. I just think sometimes we just hold people to unrealistic standards. You know, question, just a question. Following this, hypothetically, what would have happened, let's just say, had this woman gotten hired 60 days ago? Let's just say, hypothetically, she would have gotten hired 60 days ago. Would she still have been responsible for what happened at this thing, would she still have been fired, resigned? She was fired, y'all. They just let her go out with dignity, but she was fired. I don't know. Maybe Amanda Seals will help me understand it, or somebody. I'm just a little scared for people. That's all. God forbid. Yeah, let me just move on. Speaking of somebody who need to be fired, y'all, nobody asked her for this, but Carlee Russell, y'all, she done came out of hiding. And she done came on Instagram and say, I wasn't going to make a birthday post, but I would be remiss not to publicly acknowledge the goodness God has shown me, she wrote. He not only allowed me to see another year, but he changed the trajectory of my life from the negative place I was in this time last year. Y'all, and I wrote, okay, sugar, make sure you register to vote. Go sit down somewhere. There's some pound cake in there if you want you a little piece. Like, girl, Carlee, now is not the time, love. I know that we are supposed to protect all Black women. We still a little bit mad with you. And we forgot we was mad with you until you pop back on our screens smiling like, ta-da, I didn't do nothing. We got a democracy to save. And like all of our protect Black woman, Wakanda forever energy, we are channeling that towards Kamala Harris. So now is not the time for you to be like emerging with your stuff. Like, go sit down. Additionally, and you know what? I'm equally as responsible because I'm reporting on this and I won't do it again henceforth. Black media outlets, honestly and truthfully, between now and November, we do have a concerted effort to try to filter out some of the noise that gets pumped into our community. Because if I'm being honest, majority of a lot of people these days are no longer getting their news from ABC, CNN, NBC, and CBS evening news at 6 o'clock. More people than not are getting their news from Instagram and from the urban blogs. And this needs to be filtered out. Tokyo Tony, Carlissa, and Tia Kemp need to be filtered out. Netta and Charles need to be filtered out. Everything from baddies needs to be filtered out. Blueface needs to remain in jail until after November. And they say Krishan is down there in Oklahoma and they steady adding days and they need to add some more. Her and Blue, all them need to, we need to filter out all of that. All that need to be filtered out between now and November. We just don't have, I'm going to tell y'all something. And I know that a woman's smile is a beautiful thing, but is it me or do it bother y'all when y'all see somebody being happy that shouldn't be happy? Or when you see somebody being happy and you still kind of mad with them, or you still want that person on punishment? Carlee Russell and family, call me a hater. I'm not ready for you. I'm not ready to see you smile just yet. If I'm being totally honest, I am not. You smiling too wide for my liking, honey. You are smiling, baby. You got too much joy down in your heart. Where Down in you got too much joy down in your heart for me. I'm sorry. Your head need to be a little more bowed, and your eyes need to have a little more sorrow inside of them for me. You don't get to stir up the whole nation on a manhunt and then come out and be Instagram ready. Your hair is too done for me. Your hair you just look too, your skin is too clear for me. Your teeth are too pretty for me. I'm sorry. After what you put this nation through, I need you to look a little more run down like our nerves. I'm sorry. Call me a hater. I hate black women. I need you to look a little more downtrodden, baby. I need you to give me some Harriet Tubman truth and some Sojourner Truth realness and some Harriet Tubman teas. Baby, I need you to give me some We Should Overcome. I need you to be musty and sweaty like your ass just marched from Montgomery to Selma. You just look too done up for me, baby. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't think when you do what you did to this country, you don't get to look lovely. You don't get to look, I'm sorry, y'all. You don't get to look lovely when you stirred the people up the way you did. You don't. You don't. She's sitting over here playing in our face. She was smiling then and she's smiling now. Your smile should be outlawed. Your smile should be put on house arrest. Your lips on probation. They should give her mandatory Botox in her lips so her face can't move. What in the hell is you smiling for? Quiet as it's kept. And you got the nerve to be an AKA, and we got an AKA running for president? Nah, sis, you need to fall back. Quiet as it's kept. AKA people. AKA people. Y'all need to send this hoe a memorandum. Y'all need to send her a memorandum. And AKA, if y'all was standing on business the way y'all claim y'all like to stand on business, y'all would suspend her membership until after the election. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Quiet as it's kept, Carlee Russell, and I know we need all the votes we can. I think her voter's registration should be suspended as well. You just look too happy for me. You look too happy for me. And I know that might sound ignorant, and I know that God forgives, but hell, I ain't godly just yet. She need to denounce, announce, and renounce. Yes, God. Thank you, El Nicole. Ethel Hedgeman Loud is not pleased. Got the nerve to be sitting up there happy. What the hell are you happy for? Go sit down. And I'm going to tell you another thing. Because see, now your mammy finna catch a stray bullet. Carlee, at least you got down to the internet and was fake remorseful. I'm not going to lie to y'all. If I ran across Carlee Russell mammy down to the Piccadilly one Sunday after church, I'm not going to promise y'all I'm not going to throw turkey gravy on her ass. And here is why. Carlee Russell, mammy, don't think that we forgot how you got down to the news and down to the internet and cussed us out and talked to us real condescending like and talked to us real bad about your daughter. And then when it came out that her smiling ass had committed a hoax, you didn't keep that same energy and come apologize. And at this point, you could have penned an open letter to the black community. You ain't come out and say nothing. And I ain't got no respect for it. I understand that's your daughter and you was riding for your daughter, and that's fine. A lot of us have been wrong when it comes to standing in the paint for our children. But the reason why your daughter got an accountability problem, it's beyond obvious. You got an accountability problem. You got on the tool down to the ABC good and cussed us out. Cussed us out bad. I mean bad. He didn't even have the decency to write a quote on Instagram and say, I'm sorry to all those people I may have offended. Simple statement. All the mothers out there, only a mother will understand a mother's love. And in that moment, I thought I had lost my baby. I was confused. I was concerned. And my only thoughts were getting my baby back. I was hurt. I was confused. And I was angry. Since said time and since, Carlee has been found and everything has been found out to be okay and the dust has settled, I find it prudent to apologize to all of the people that I may have upset during my time of grievement and premature bereavement. That's it. She up there smiling, that sociopathic smile. Stay away from me. I think we need to call her job. I think we need to call around Carlee Russell job and call around her mammy job and harass them people and play on them people's phone till they fire her ass. I don't like her smiling. I give your ass something to smile about. We need to call her job. We need to call around that whole job. Somebody find out where she work at and where that mammy work at, and I'm going to post it on my page. We need to call that whole job. I'm not comfortable with her smiling. I'm sorry. I'm not, and I'm going to move on. We need to call around that whole job. Now, we're going to leave your daddy alone. We're going to leave one income in that household. We're going to leave one income in that household, and that daddy knew that mammy was SHIT because he just kept his head low and he ain't say nothing on that news and he got his ass in that truck. We need to call around this whole job. Nessa, whichever one of y'all find out where this helper work at, and you know what? We got prioritize calling the mammy job first. Y'all find out where that mammy work at first. I really got it out for that mammy. Find out where that hoe work at, and I'm organizing a phone bank. We calling around that whole job. What's the day? Tuesday. By Thursday, we gonna have the phone lines open, and we calling them hoes job. By Monday, when them hoes down to the unemployment office, we gonna see if they gonna be smiling, okay? And then you can take your ass down to AKA headquarters and see if they can ski-wee your ass a position in the community service department. The only place your ass gonna work, Carlee Russell, you and your mammy, is in the chain gang. I'm sorry. You smiling, you need to be doing community service, okay? The way you had us out there on the side of the expressway, digging in bushes, ticks, deer ticks, fleas, snails, sticker birdies was all in our socks and stuff. I'm not going to be satisfied until I see you and your mammy musty, sweating, and crying on the side of the highway picking up garbage. We need to call them hoes jobs. Y'all find out where them hoes work at, and I'm going to organize the phone banks come Thursday because you too happy for my liking. As high as inflation is, what the hell you around there smiling for? Okay? Folks took off their job. Folks took off their job helping to search for your ass and this invisible baby. Okay? Took off their job. You and your mammy don't deserve to have one. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You don't deserve to have one. And I'm going to move on. But we calling that whole job. We calling that whole job. Come Monday morning, the only place I want to see you taking a selfie from is the Department of Labor in Alabama or Tennessee or wherever the hell you at. We calling the jobs. I'm going to fix your ass. So much is going on in this world and you sitting up here smiling. Oh, God. moving right along, y'all. That was funny, and we moving along to somebody funny. That's how we doing. We calling in 2024. We calling hoes jobs. Lil Rel, y'all, he did a body transformation. Now, you know, we living in this Ozempic craze, and so I don't know if he did Ozempic. I'm not accusing him of doing Ozempic, but it's not far-fetched if he did do Ozempic. And if he did, I'm not judging him. I'm not opposed to anybody using technology and modern medicine to achieve healthy lifestyle and fitness objectives. Lil Rel, he looks good. This is the Lil Rel that we used to know. And this is Lil Rel now. Now, here is the only thing that I want to say about Lil Rel's transformation. And I will say this. He definitely looks like he worked out with his, because he does got what appears to be a flat stomach, some chest muscles coming through. His arms do look a little, you know, slim, but he's a handsome man. It definitely has transformed his look 100%. Here is my critique, and here is what I would be curious to know. Part of what made Lil Rel funny was his physical appearance. Y'all know how we have the fat, funny black girl friend. Lil Rel always played the short, kind of chubby, annoying friend. His physical appearance played into his comedy. I'm just curious to know how losing the weight is going to affect his career, because in Hollywood, outside of your talent, your look is a part of it. And if I'm being honest, this current look, despite the fact that I think he looks extremely well, this current look now makes him look like any random Negro in the club, any city, USA, any night of the week. You know what I'm saying? And so at the point in which you've now become any Negro in the club, USA, I wonder what this does for his career. I hate to say it, but he stood out more and was more noticeable when he was fat. What are examples of this? The girl that played in Insecure, Natasha, whatever her name is, the heavyset girl that played in Insecure. More times than not, she has been typecast into the fat, funny role. And I'm going to tell y'all, I have a friend that's an actor that said something very profound to me about being typecast. My friend said the root word in typecast is cast. And in a place where roles for Black people are limited, I think a lot of people are content with being typecast. Unpopular opinion, or maybe not so unpopular opinion. Jennifer Lewis is the typecast queen of Hollywood. I don't give two damns what movie, TV show you see Jennifer Lewis in. It is the same exact role. It is the Rebel Wilson. That's the one who played in Pitch Perfect. Melissa McCarthy from Bridesmaid. If Melissa McCarthy loses weight, she will no longer be funny. She'll no longer be funny. You know what I'm saying? It's just, and maybe she will be. Amy Schumer. We were sold short, fat, annoying friend. And now that you're not the short, fat, annoying friend, I'm just curious to know what effect this will have on his career. Hopefully it won't. There's nothing sexier than seeing a black man work. I think he's talented. His skin is amazing. I would love for him to get some Neutrogena endorsements or whatever the case may be. But I would just be curious to know what effect this would have on his career. But shouts out to Lil Rel and everybody else that is on the thing, losing weight or whatever. Now let me go on to this next one, y'all. The girls is fighting.
I really don't know.
Hold on.
Because I don't even know what Scrappy was doing. He was on set of Love and Hip Hop filming. And we had been on set for 12 hours that day, filming all day. And me and Scrappy walked by each other several times because me and Scrappy haven't talked in like a month, like outside of TV. You know, we've been filming Love and Hip Hop. We done seen each other on set several times. We speak when we on set. You know what I'm saying? We was just laughing and joking with each other on set the last time we was on set. But in that particular video, that was the Love and Hip Hop concert. Sierra and Bam and Amy was going through it. So I'm standing next to Erica and Rollo. I'm between Erica and Rollo watching the Bam and Sierra and Amy beef. I got my shades on, I'm fresh, I'm chilling. Out of nowhere, Scrappy just walked up on me security was holding him because Scrappy was drunk and Scrappy was already going through it with Sierra and Bam, and they was already having an altercation. So he was drunk, and out of nowhere, he just ran up on me like he had a problem, but security was holding him back when he ran up on me. He was telling security he was just coming to talk to me, but why would you run up like you ready to fight if you just coming to talk? First of all. Second of all, bro, you got my number. If you had a problem with me, we seen each other 10 times that day. If you my friend, if you got a problem, why you ain't been addressing? I mean, you could have addressed the problem countless times. You done seen me outside of Love and Hip Hop countless times. Why you ain't addressing? Why you wait till we get on the
so that gets lengthy and lengthy and lengthy. And then let me give y'all what Scrappy had to say about it, then we gonna talk. The girls is fighting.
I ain't on YouTube. I get on YouTube, but I ain't on YouTube. I ain't running around in these folk face trying motherfucker to do skits with me. That ain't my get down. You know what I'm saying? That ain't my get down. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't finna play with my name. That's all I got to say. I ain't finna play with my name, and I ain't finna play with nobody else's name. But you play with my name, you gonna see. You gonna see. I might don't get in that shit first because I be trying to be a good guy. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna see. Cause I don't play with folk name, and I don't expect people to play with mine. You be around, you be trying to help, and slick be dirty gaming you, like just really like when every time they speak on your name, they just speaking low and low vibrations. Like you like, bro, why every time you speak my name, bro, it's low on some low vibration? I'm talking about some jury. Like you got me. I don't have to do that. I don't have to get fake cars and cap online and do all that. I don't have to do all that. I'm me. I don't have to do all that capping, getting fake cars that ain't mine. And
now look, both of them going on and on and on and on and on. I don't know much. I will say this. I don't know nothing about none of the beef. I ain't even gonna pretend to jump in like I do. Only commentary that I got to offer is I think it's sad that they fighting and that it went public, because for the longest while they were frolicking and prancing around together and it was really cute. It looked like, you know, a big brother, kid brother relationship. And I'm going to be very honest with you. I was very pleased to see two street heterosexual guys just having a good old time, pranking, running around, and just being boys and being boyish like and having fun without it being all that toxic masculine energy and without it being all street thug stuff. I enjoyed the boyish kitty. Let me call, somebody said, let me call Mama D. I just thought, let me call Mama D. Let me call Mama D. See.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
She ain't answer. Now y'all gonna have her calling me back when I ain't ready to talk. I should call Shakana. Shakana tell it. Nevertheless, y'all, I hate to see it happen or whatever. And it's like, damn, black men, we can't have nothing. Like the moment we get something cool going on, it's like, I don't know. I just hope they work it out. And it's weird because I always get concerned when black men get to like doing like this publicly, especially guys who are cut from that street cloth, because then it kind of, well, you know what? Shekinah always in other people's business. So let's just see if Shekinah answer the phone. She always.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
She got 2 numbers. Since she always in other people's business. Y'all gonna have all my TV friends scared to answer the phone from me. Hello? She ain't answer either. These people probably be knowing between 8 and 10, don't answer the phone from Funky Dinevs. Nevertheless, y'all, I hate to see it, and I hope that don't nothing happen. Now, I just wanted to address one thing. Scrappy was saying he don't have to do fake cars and he don't have to do fake jewelry and all that type of stuff. And I don't know what he does have to do and does not have to do, but it's not far-fetched to believe Scrappy, considering the fact that Bambi said you don't pay bills and you can't get an apartment in your name and all that type of stuff. For all I know, Bambi could be lying, but it's not far-fetched to believe with what's already been said. Who y'all want me to call? Who y'all want me to call? Let me see who will tell it.
Do all that cap.
Let me see who will tell it. Let me see who will tell it. I ain't gonna do that. Anyway, y'all, that's all I got. Ain't got no more. Y'all be sure to like and subscribe. Y'all do not forget, sign up for the cruise. Sign up for the cruise. Sign up for, ooh, my skin look good. Sign up for the cruise. And I'll call y'all tomorrow. We'll talk later. Bye, everybody.